Hello, I'm Philip Hong here in the town of Krong Kampot in the southern province of Kampot in Cambodia. You're probably wondering why I'm here though, because it's a very random town. Well, this is my mother's birthplace and no one from my family has been in this town for 50 years. I'll tell you more. I'll literally tell you more. So let me introduce to you the numerous tourist attractions here in Cambodia. We've got Bo Kaw Mountain behind me here, and then we've got a little beach on this side as part of a little walk that you can take, a little sidewalk. And then this is called the Old Bridge, because it's literally called the Old Bridge. I mean, this is the Old Bridge to, back here, it's the Old Town, which is where my mother was born. No, she is not old. Now this island behind me is called Trai Kao, which means Fish Island. And if you go through one of these river passages, you'll make it eventually towards the ocean. But let's not go there yet. let's hear from my late grandmother, because she has more about our Marvel origin story, I guess, from here in Krong Kampot.
Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos were governed as French colonies, and your great-grandfather had developed a cordial relationship with public officials within the colony. The staff were all from the West. He knew everyone that mattered in that system, so when local residents had issues that needed resolving, they would go to great-grandpa, knowing that he'd be able to be a facilitator for them. He was a gentleman that people really relied on. We were living comfortably. Our household was not exactly the richest, but our family had no shortage of vision of what to do with the money we had. Much of the money was destined for political uses in China. There was a duty to help. The communists hadn't taken over China at that time, so our family's involvement went as far as attending this big convention at the capital. There were representatives of ethnic Chinese from other countries, basically representatives. Your great-grandfather represented the Cambodian Chinese community. This was when Chiang Kai-shek was Generalissimo.
Now this is the famous durian roundabout here in Krong Kampot, and Kampot Province is famous for durian, it's famous for pepper, and sea salt. This is a mainly agricultural province. And great-grandpa was part of that. And grandma was part of that. And humans were part of that.
By that time, we lost the crops. We lost what was left. Our living came from planting and harvesting peppercorns, and those plants were lost. There was plenty of Viet Cong infiltration in Cambodia. That's when things really went awry. At that time, if you were caught traveling in that area and they knew you were a member of the Chinese Nationalist Party, they would have dragged you away. Good heavens, that was something. They knew your grandfather. My father was a Chinese nationalist. They obviously wanted to create trouble, so we had to flee Cambodia. Your grandfather was also a nationalist, so we really had to go. Your mother, your aunt, and I, at that time, we had a person who took us to Vietnam. A snakehead. Gosh, I had to carry your aunt because she was barely a toddler. But your mother, the level of water in the rice paddies we crossed went up to her neck. Those rice paddies have plenty of water and the rains were drenching them, but we crossed them anyhow. We would ask random neighbors in the farmsteads we passed if we could borrow their floors to sleep on, and when the sun came up, we just kept walking. We somehow made it to Vietnam after getting to the coast and fleeing by boat. Gosh, they took this large photo while they were meeting at the Memorial Hall commemorating the first president of Republican China. The photo had many ethnic Chinese from overseas who had gathered at the Memorial Hall, standing tall. It's frustrating that I can't show you that photo because money really couldn't buy that.